you imagining things? What is that? I mean, I heard it too. What is it? Who's out there?
So, that
Oh.
close colleague who stayed behind with you? What's he been up to recently?
Tea party.
Don't know, don't care. I get more normal human interaction from hanging out with Bosco too than him. Although, now you mention it, he
Who?
hasn't bothered me in a
Oh,
while.
I know who you're talking
I
about.
wonder if...
If he's disappeared without a trace, it's the biggest gift he ever gave to the world. But I somehow doubt that's what's going on.
I love how we all decide, yeah, we don't like Dotori.
He won't lie low forever. So we'd better stay on guard.
This is quite the odd spot for a tea party. It's just like all metal and industrial. Oh, you can see the big hole at the top there from when the cannon shot went. Oh, is there another scene, or is that just the end of the quest? Okay, that's the end of the quest. are we still doing? Okay, we're apparently we showed the end screen, but there's still more to talk about. Yeah, no, Dotori is not a super likable guy. What's up?
Ah, Lord Sangama Bay. How lovely to see you. I must thank you for the device you provided. It was an enormous help. Would I be right in thinking that it was developed by the Academia?
Why come and ask me when you clearly know already?
I mostly came to thank you.
That's more like it. A little gratitude goes a long way with Lord Sangama Bay. Play your cards right, and you might even stand a chance of becoming my long-term supplier.
The chance to work with such a kind and charitable investor as yourself would be a great honor for the Curatorium.
What are you getting at?
Huh? Charitable? Who said anything about charity? First time hearing about it.
Let's see. The first plot of land you purchased in Nod-Krai, your desert interests, and...
Stop! What do you think you're doing? Exposing my investment history!
It's nothing to hide from. They're all perfectly legitimate investments. And some of the land you purchased was with the intent of building a sanctuary? Yes, I heard about that too.
How did you...
You're a curious case, Lord Sangama Bay. You don't like people finding out about your good deeds, do you?
Oh, you're actually helping out from the shadows, Dory.
But I'm afraid no matter how hard you try to keep things under wraps, where there's a will, there's a way. You did it for Sumeru, didn't you?
It was empty land that was gonna go to waste otherwise. I figured if I built something there, it might at least get some use in an emergency. Disasters are capricious things. They strike without any warning. I've lost family to a disaster before, and I don't want to lose any friends or business partners if I can help it. My elder sister used to dream of finding a sanctuary. Somewhere with plenty of food, water, and medicine. Where everyone could live happy lives. It was something I looked into. But after discussing things with the Dendro Archon, I decided on a more effective strategy. The tech people handled the tech, and Moneybags provided the Mora. It just made the most sense.
It's a pity that so few people know the truth about you. Everyone says that you view everything in terms of Mora, and all you care about is growing your own wealth.
So, what's the problem with that? Everyone wants to be rich. It's human nature. So yes, I love Mora, and it's nothing to be ashamed of.
But you also have a kind-hearted side and compassionate side
But
too.
surely you have dreams of your own, beyond just making Mora.
You don't get it, do you? My dream is to invest in other people's dreams. And, you know, make a nice little slice for myself along the way. Just thinking about it makes me happy. That sweet, sweet sound of Mora.
Thank you.
For the device?
And the pendant.
Oh, that. I was just returning a favor. Don't worry about it.
Seems like we've both been away from home for a very long time.
Yeah. So long that I barely remember what my family even looked like.
That would be your mother, father, and sister?
Yeah. Though it's been years since my sister passed away. It's not like I want to forget them, obviously, but memory can be even more ruthless than the most calculating business person. Beyond a certain point, if something isn't helping you, it just gets rid of it. My sister can't help me now. Slowly but surely, her face is fading from my mind's eye. It's become a vague impression.
Not everything will fade. When loved ones pass away, the beautiful memories are the ones that last the longest.
That's quite different than Dane's perspective.
Yeah, that's true. If you ask me, that's the one silver lining in all of it.
Well, that, plus, I'm sure that life is much better now than it was back then.
Oh, absolutely. I have tons of Mora, a big beautiful house, business is booming, and I'm as happy as can be. You've got a lot going for you too. Boss of the Curatorium of Secrets? I'm sure there's plenty of Mora to be made in that line of work.
I appreciate the vote of confidence.
That was an interesting conversation. Seeing Nefer and Dory much more open than they usually are with anybody, including each other. Yeah, I remember that from Dory's character story, is that her family wasn't wealthy growing up and her sister passed away because they couldn't afford the medicine. So that's why she never wanted to be poor again, so she would never have to face that again. Yeah, but just once again, everybody's experiences shapes how they decide to live out the rest of their lives. But that was a much more candid and honest conversation between the two than we've seen before. That was really interesting. Ah, you guys!
How have you been holding up? Any adverse reactions? If you start to take a turn for the worse, make sure you tell me right away.
You don't need to worry about me, Grandmaster. I'm fine. I mean, I barely did anything, so...
You did what?
You're too humble, young man.
You played an indispensable role in the battle for Nod-Krai. We can't thank you enough for your support. Sometimes, when people praise you, it's because you deserve it. The best thing is to accept it calmly and with grace. It's important to learn how to respond to words of admiration.
Let's do a quick demonstration. Albedo, that was an incredible feat of alchemy. The pressure was on, but you worked flawlessly at lightning speed to get the job done.
Thank you. I can't take all the credit, though. Durin played a big part in forming the alchemical array.
See? Did you catch that? A masterclass in how to take a compliment.
I mean, Albedo kind of deflected that back to Durin again.
Okay, yeah. I did work pretty hard to help prepare for the battle. No point denying that.
Hey, you guys!
Hello! Seriously, great work, everyone. You all outdid yourselves.
Hey, look who's bounced back. Looking good, traveler.
Seems like you've recovered. You won't need to take any more medication.
Can I get you a drink?
Huh? You know how to order at a bar now? You sure learned a lot recently.
Handling a drinks order is ridiculously simple compared to alchemy. Don't worry, I'll blend into society yet.
Paimon believes it. You're clearly a fast learner, just like your brother.
It's hard to believe, though, that Durin would be able to order a drink at a bar when every time Aether goes to try to order a drink at the bar, like, sorry, you're too young. I mean, Durin looks young, too.
To be totally honest, though, Paimon didn't quite follow all the details when you first explained the plan to us.
Don't worry, that's completely understandable. Unless you're a student of alchemy, it's hard to grasp the principle and how the process works.
To put it in the simplest terms, we saw how our enemy stole the power of Kuvaki. And that gave us the idea of stealing his power to turn it against him. When facing an enemy you have no hope of defeating, it's best not to engage them in battle.
But unfortunately, we still had to.
So, instead of looking for a way to overpower him, we decided to help Columbina get strong enough to at least stand up to him in a fight. For this to work, we had to analyze his modes of attack, confirm who his main target was, and make sure that he wouldn't go beyond the range of the alchemical array. For added security, we prepared a total of 4 arrays. But to mitigate the impact of the battle, we identified one location in particular as the ideal spot, which is where the confrontation took place.
You guys were so prepared.
The alchemical array absorbed his abyssal power. Then Durin processed it to render it usable by Columbina. That power enabled her to do what would otherwise have been nigh on impossible.
What surprised me was that Dainsleif actually agreed to join us. Given his history with Rerir, he had every right to sit this one out. But we're extremely grateful for the decision he made.
Confronting a former friend in battle, that can't have been easy.
It must have been a painful choice to make. But I'm sure that making a decision was far better for him than staying in limbo.
Absolutely. He was torn between two paths, but in the end, he made his choice and stuck to it resolutely. He doesn't strike me as the sort of person who'd stay trapped in limbo for long.
No.
Anyway, however you cut it, everyone gave a stellar performance. And now, it's time to kick back and celebrate.
Yeah! Celebrate until the next bad thing happens. Oh, okay, something else. You know, it's just... something else actually happening? Yeah.
That's the only reason you're here.
I love how they've showed the end title screen, and yet they're still showing us more. This is great. I love all this bonus content we're getting, which is not bonus content.
Yes, I've thought a lot about it. And I've realized that you, me, and Arlecchino should be friends.
Aww.
I think this is very important. So I felt I had to come and tell you.
Well, this is a new one. I'm so moved. I can't even hold my teacup. If that's all, you can leave now.
Do you not want to be friends with me? Or is it that you prefer being co-workers?
What is this, Columbina? Are you deliberately testing my patience threshold? Right now, my politeness module is active. But if you say another word, I swear I'll shut it down.
If your politeness module was active, wouldn't you say the word please at some point?
I love their interactions so much.
Colonia, please see Lady Columbina to the door.
Will you still invite me to your next tea party?
What?
Yes, I think you will. Bye-bye, dear Sandrone.
Oh, she knows. What? How did we get in here? How and why did we get in here? Well, obviously she let us in. I mean, how did we know to come here? Catching up with a friend? Hope I'm not interrupting.
Last time, the Wild Hunt escorted you out. Would you rather I handled it myself this time?
We just wanted to, see how you were doing now that it's all over.
Yeah.
Why? Out of concern for my safety? I hope you didn't seriously think that the Rayhir of Solnari would be able to lay so much as a finger upon me, given how prepared I was.
Mostly because you kind of helped us out, so we just
Yeah,
wanted to
we're
check
just
you were
being
okay.
nice.
Looks like all your robots are fixed, huh?
Yeah, thanks to Fremine. I spy books and teacups on the table. Oh, afternoon tea. We were interrupting after all.
Oh, don't you worry about that. Tea time is already a write-off. The visitor before you managed to kill my appetite.
Sure.
If you're in the mood for tea, go ahead and help yourself. Otherwise, it's going to waste. My coasters
pleasure.
are still missing in action, though. Use this notebook instead.
Whoa! Pretty hefty notebook. Look at all those calculations.
You're just letting us see your notebook?
You can ignore those. They're just dumb scribblings. I doodle and write in my free time. Sometimes I remember the distant, dreamlike past. Sometimes I imagine the far-flung future.
Wow, don't we all?
And other times, I grit my teeth and note down all the crazy nonsense going on in the present. Some people do the crosswords in the newspaper. This is my equivalent of that.
Well, that's a good way to let off steam, is to journal.
Trying to predict the future is like daydreaming. And writing about the present just makes me furious. The past is my favorite. If nothing else, it's already set in stone, so I don't have to rack my brains trying to figure it all out. Huh. Although, having said that, the only vaguely interesting memory in my past is probably that guy they call Lord Artificer.
Lord Artificer, you mean Alain Guillotine? I knew it. Everyone was saying that she looks like she's a robot version of Marianne.
Who else? Pretty much all the mecha and Fontaine are his personal handiwork.
Wait, are you saying you know him? Like, personally? As a friend?
I mean, I guess we were friendly enough.
So you've actually met him, but he lived hundreds of years ago.
Yep. In fact, I'm probably the only normal person left who knew him at all.
I mean, you might not be wrong about that.
We used to chat occasionally back when he was still around. Before he passed away, he asked me to destroy all his manuscripts. I honored his request, but I did read through everything first before destroying them. I mean, I couldn't let the genius of Lord Artificer Genshin disappear like that.
Oh, I love the way
Would
she
have been
pronounces
such
it.
a waste.
En français.
So, that's where the formulas in your notebook are from?
I just told you. Those are my equivalent of crossword puzzles. They're just dumb formulas that I solve for fun when I'm bored. Alain's work was like epic poetry. The formulas in my notebook are just silly little riddles in comparison. Not that there's anything bad about them. I mean, at least, solving those riddles isn't going to hurt anyone. Except me, because I lose a few brain cells in the process. Anyway, while we're on the topic, I might as well tell you about what happened to him and his friends. Alain Guillotin had two close buddies, Renee and Jacob. They spent their childhood years together in the Narzissenkreuz
Oh my gosh,
Ordo.
I was literally just about to say, after this conversation, we should go and review the Narzissenkreuz lore again.
They were all quite competitive, so there was some rivalry between them. But it was a friendly rivalry.
Does she remember that Marianne was Elaine's sister?
But beneath the friendship and the rivalry ran something deeper, a sense of nostalgia for the past. Unfortunately, childhood would end. The prophecy would come true. The apocalypse would arrive, and the future would never be.
Yeah, the apocalypse arrived like a year and a half early because it took me that long to finish the Narzissenkreuz quest.
A mad dream that would normally only capture the minds of lunatics began to take root in their hearts. A dream of saving the world.
Yeah, they brought back the Narzissenkreuz theme for this.
And if Renee and Alain had been people of lesser wits, that dream would probably have ended up as something for them to joke about in their older years. But alas, they were some of the sharpest minds around. They nurtured that dream with the full power of their intellect, and it grew into something that ate away at their souls.
Yeah.
The first of them to fall under its spell was Renee. Against Alain's wishes, he persisted in experimenting on a mutual friend of theirs to try and save their life. Alain did not approve and parted ways with Renee.
And that was beginning with the Narzissenkreuz, like the tower that used to be in the Mort region before it fell to the bottom of the lake.
It's complicated. Alain wanted to believe that Renee only did what he did for the sake of their friendship. But when he told me about what happened, I could tell he still had some suspicions about Renee's motives. Perhaps the seed that would grow into a nightmare had already sprouted in Renee's mind. Even then.
Yeah. This is so interesting that we're just having this full-on conversation about this right now. But yeah, we did end up fighting the big monster at the end of that quest, which was what Renee had turned into, right?
The next time they met, Renee's soul had been completely engulfed by the dream of salvation. His futile attempt to change the tide of fate only resulted in a wave that swallowed up the world, even before the apocalypse came. And although that wave died down eventually, I hear that it just recently came back with a vengeance. As I understand, Renee wanted to live out his dream
Yeah,
of
that's the
salvation once
one.
more. But I'm told that the attempted resurgence finally died out for good. At long last, Renee awoke from his deluded dream. Though of course by then it was far too late. What do you think of Renee? Do you admire his transcendent genius? His view that any price was worth paying to achieve the lofty goal of saving the world? Or do you despise him? Dismiss him as an evil madman who wrought havoc on the lives of everyone around him as he pursued his delusional dream?
I mean...
Same difference, really. Just a matter of perspective.
Just like a lot of what we've talked about in this story, it's hard to tell. We did end up fighting him. I'm not gonna lie. What I learned from doing the Narzissenkreuz storyline is it's not a good idea to do the storyline over a very long, spread out amount of time, because it's harder for me to retain the different pieces of information to put together. Which is why when I did the Little Buddy and, you know, Chosen of Dragons storyline, it was a lot, but I did it like all at once, so I would actually have some cohesive understanding of the story. I feel like I need to review all the Narzissenkreuz lore. I did do it. But obviously this Sandrone is not the same as the Marianne who once lived, because okay, this is what I need to review. What happened to Marianne? She became the little Sheonid, right? She became, like, that little Sheonid Anne was, like, Marianne and someone else, like, fused together. Lyris, right? And then, so the original Marianne is gone, and Sandrone is clearly a robot of some kind. So I imagine Alain must have created, or somebody, probably Alain, created a robot to carry on the memories of his sister, is what I'm presuming. I mean, actually, we don't know that. I'm assuming this is something we're going to learn even more about in the future. Which is why it's important to recap the Narzissenkreuz lore, because I feel like the way I played it, I didn't retain as much of it, and I feel bad about that. It was a fun questline, though. I don't know.
What a cop-out. But I suspect you'd have a more incisive and insightful answer if we dug into it further.
I agree. Yeah, no, I feel bad about picking I don't know, because the whole thing about... As I'm such an indecisive person, and the whole thing, though, about a debate is... Sometimes you just have to go all out on one side just to try to figure out both sides of the argument. Do you know what I mean? But she's right. If I read up more on the lore and refreshed my memory about it more, I think I would probably have a better answer to that question. What's your take on Renee?
I don't like fanatics who give up their whole lives for their ideology. Nor do I like fools who let their delusions take control. Maybe I could understand if Renee had just been an ordinary person. But he had a sage-like intellect. And still managed to get himself lost in a labyrinth of his own desires. Anyway, that's enough about Renee. Now, moving on to Alain Guillotin, the Lord Artificer.
This is not the conversation I expected to be having at the end of this quest, but I'm here for it. I was always... Because, you know, I was curious about if and when Marionette would share her story.
He managed to put a stop to the first storm whipped up by Renee. But after that, Alain lost his friends and family. To his credit, I suppose, the loss of his family and friends was purely a tragic accident. It's not like Alain sacrificed them for his cause or anything. After that, the only thing supporting his work was the same dream that had dragged his closest friend down to the abyss. But although the desire to save Fontaine drove him to found the Fontaine Research Institute, Alain continued to reject any form of transcendental knowledge or power. He was suspicious and fearful of it, having seen the way it had affected his closest friend. I think that formulas and machines derived solely from human intellect were the only thing that gave him a sense of spiritual comfort.
Yeah.
Yet Alain's intellect was simply too great. It barely left him space to breathe in his lifetime.
Yeah, you know, he was everywhere in the lore in Fontaine. Like, he was involved in, like, pretty much every corner of, like, the history of from 500 years ago in Fontaine.
Once he realized that the end of his life was approaching, he finally accepted the truth. The Narzissenkreuz Institute needed someone, and a human being, to see its story through to the end. He quit working on his formulas, trading them in for the fairy tales that had played such a formative role in his childhood, but which he'd barely touched in his adult life. He told me that the director of the Narzissenkreuz Institute used to read those fairy tales to the children as bedtime stories. Apparently, they worked wonders at sending kids off to sleep. I think that all he wanted at that time in his life was to be able to sleep deeply without being plagued by depression.
Yeah, I remember going there.
By that point, nothing else really mattered. At the very end, he laid down to rest in the ruins of the former Narzissenkreuz Institute orphanage, while the Fontaine Research Institute he had founded continued tirelessly with its work. Many years after that, tensions over competing dreams would once again cause a rift, this time between members of the Fontaine Research Institute. But the actions of those fools had nothing at all to do with Alain.
First of all, the Fatui guys just be like, well, you know, boss is really spending a lot of time talking with these outsiders. Second of all, I remember doing that quest, too. But I barely... Here's the thing. I feel like I wish I remembered all of these things. I remember the quest where we went up into the sky at the Fontaine Research Institute and we were swimming up the water and then like the sky turned all purple and there's like some Archeum things and things like that. But I don't... And I remember the bad guy in that quest. I really didn't like him. But I can't tell you much more detail beyond that now. And it's just like... This is the thing, it's just... Having played this game for so long, and having had so much other stuff go on in my life at the same time too, it's just like... I wish there was more I remembered. Because I remember the joy of those experiences, and I think that's the most important thing. But... Hey, I guess that's what the wiki is for, to read up on all of this and remind myself what happened. Yeah, I remember that quest too. It had nothing to do with Alain.
And that is the story of two people from the Narzissenkreuz Institute who both wanted to save the world. One went all in on his fantasy of salvation without ever looking back, and ended up calmly sinking to the bottom of the deepest sea. The other sought desperately to burn bright in his life, even though he wasn't sure where he was going. I do sometimes wonder, why is it that people like them have such grand hopes of saving the world?
I mean, thank you for sharing so much with us. I mean, we just showed up and interrupted your tea party, and you're very generous with your time to talk to us about all of this, because indeed, it's stuff I'm curious about. And I can't believe she's just being so open with us and sharing it with us pretty much unprompted.
Even the grandest tree starts as a tiny seed. So perhaps, for each of them, their mission to save the world began with a very simple desire: to save themselves. They were young children with friends and family who mattered to them, desires to explore the meaning of life, ambitions to have a successful career. They didn't want to see all of that taken away in one fell swoop. Or maybe they just wanted to find something to anchor themselves within the chaos, to stop them getting quietly swept away by the storms of life. But instead, the search for their own salvation took them down the rocky road laid out by fate. Do you think the desire to save oneself is enough of a justification to try and save the world?
I mean... Okay, once again, this has to do with how you define that. Because the question is, who are you trying to justify your choice to? Are you trying to justify that choice to yourself and to your own conscience? Because... yeah, I guess it would be enough in terms of... At the end of the day, you can have lofty ideas about doing the right thing and saving the world, but maybe that primitive instinct for self-preservation is a driving force for a lot of people's choices. If you're trying to talk about justifying that to other people, I'm trying to remember what Renee did. I think he wanted to turn us all into... I don't remember what he did, but it was something akin to whatever Kukulkan was doing in Natlan. Or, not Kukulkan. I mean, it was Kukulkan, but his brother, Shiyu Koto. You know, in Natlan there was the the phlogistonization array, you know? We're gonna turn everything into phlogiston to defeat the abyss. If nothing exists and everything just turns into pure energy, then yeah, that's the solution, which I don't agree with. I think Renee... I can't remember. I almost feel like I should look this up now. I'll do it later, though. I think Renee's plan had was something like that, too. Like, I'm just gonna make this decision on behalf of everybody in Fontaine, because I know what's better for you, and it's gonna be something... It was something like the phlogistonization array. Anyway, in that sense, probably not, because your choice has so many more implications on other people, too. And... You know what? I'm looking this up right now. What did... I have the wiki up right now. It's just loading. Renee. This is really interesting, though, because this is telling me I do need to study up on this lore again. Narzissenkreuz Ordo dissolved himself and reborn as Narzissenkreuz. That's how he died. Yeah, I remember something like that. He was best known for researching Conrian technology. Close friend of Jacob. Okay, what did he do? History... Okay, I'm not gonna read all of this right now, because it's a huge amount of lore. Yeah, they had the Doomsday Clock. What? Yeah, he experimented on Elaine's assistant in an attempt to quote-unquote save his life. Yeah. Renee dissolves himself first by merging her consciousness together with his, eventually creating the Master. Whoa. And that was... yeah, that's the big monster. What was his plan? Tell me what his plan was. Dude, this is what's incredible about this game. Like, the lore in some of these nations could be like a whole university course. I don't remember. I'm gonna look this up later. He did something. Anyway, from the latter justification, no, I don't think so.
Sensible answer. Glad to know you've got your head screwed on straight. Alain would disagree, though. I asked him the same question back when he was in his prime, putting all of his energy into his work. Yes, it's enough.
Well, that was his justification for doing what he did.
No elaboration, just a quick, short answer before getting right back to his work. He was always that way. All right, tea time's over.
We didn't even have any tea!
I owe Arlecchino a favor for telling me these stories. I'll have to bring a whole sack of gifts the next time I visit the House of the Hearth.
So she was the one who told you about
I'm
this?
gonna go tinker with Polonia now. You guys can do whatever you want, as long as it doesn't involve interrupting me.
So that's her saying, it's okay if we go do a couple world quests over here. That
Polonia,
was...
exit hibernation mode. Begin diagnostics.
really interesting. Okay, is that it or is there more? I mean, I'm good if there's more. I'm just... Wow, that's a lot. Oh, that's the one that we would have activated because we went over there to that area. And I guess passing through there activated the quest, but because I had the focus experience mode on, it didn't start it, which is good for me. That was quite interesting. Yeah, we can do Act 5 because we're already on that update. We'll do that next time. That was a lot. That was fun. We worked together so well as a team. That team that we have. And on top of all of that, we actually... Sandroni told us a lot there. You kind of can get a sense of which Fatui Harbingers are the ones who, you know, like you and will work with you really well right away, like Tartaglia. The ones that, you know, you're kind of in conflict with at first, but, you know, they'll eventually come around to you, like Arlecchino and Scaramouche, and I can tell Sandrone might be one of those. And then you can tell which are the Harbingers, and then also Capitano too. And you can tell which of the Harbingers you're never gonna get along with. And one of them is Dottore. And I guess Signora as well. Although, truth be told, we didn't get a ton of chance to actually individually talk with Signora and get that sense from her. Well, but she hurt Venti, so I guess that automatically means she's not our friend. Anyway, I'm just saying, I think this will be... I think knowing Sandrone, that this is a fruitful conversation, and we might be able to learn more about the Narzissenkreuz in the future, which is going to be important. But yeah. Dude, the Narzissenkreuz lore is so important, because there are ties to the Abyss and Conria in that too. Like, I should go and read up on this. It's truly like studying for an exam. Yay, we got our intertwined fate. Alright. No paralogism. Now, next time we'll be doing a Nocturne of the Far North. We'll be continuing on. It's interesting how in this quest we defeated Rare, yet there's still so much more story to go. Almost as if, you know, somehow that wasn't the biggest crisis Nod-Krai is gonna face in the next little while. Which is... Oh, this music's cool with the guitar. Almost as if that's not the biggest crisis Nod-Krai's gonna face, which is concerning to me. But nonetheless. That was fun. That was fun! That was fun. Went through some emotionally disturbing times in this Archon quest, but I think we really resolved everything there at the end with bringing everybody together to defeat Rare like that. And yeah, who knows what's up next? We got to meet Durin! I'm guessing he might be back in the story in the future? I wonder. But that is all from me for now. Is there any... Yeah, there should be a achievement for it. An Elegy for Faded Moonlight. There we go. Alright. That's all from me for now. Take care, everyone. Thanks for you all for watching. And I will see you in the next one. He's chasing his tail. Bye, everyone.